Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining us today for the Untangle Tech Talk series. Today we'll be walking you through the new email reports template features that has been made available in the latest NG Firewall version 12.2 release. My name is Shannon Miles and I'm part of the product marketing team here, and I'll be your host today. I also have with us John Coffin, who is our Director of QA and been with us for quite some time, and he'll be demonstrating these new email report templates and answer, of course, any questions that come along. So just a few housekeeping rules before we get started. Please be sure that you are selecting the correct audio preference on the right-hand side. If you do select to use a phone, you will need to dial in and use the access code provided. As a reminder, this webinar is being recorded, so you will have the option to revisit or rewatch or share the webinar as you wish. And as always, we'll be answering questions throughout this demo, and if we do not get to your questions, you can always email us at sales@untangle.com or support@untangle.com. If you have a question while listening to this, you can submit your questions to the Q&A box on the right-hand side. We have a number of people on hand to help answer questions, whether they be technical or sales questions. Now, before I pass this over to John, I just want to reiterate that this is a highly technical webinar. So if you're not familiar with Untangle, our solution, or networking concepts, then this may not be the best webinar for you. And we do have another webinar series called our 101 webinars that cover more higher level topics, and those might be better suited for you. And you can find a full list of those webinars, our upcoming ones, and past ones on our website. And with that, I'll pass it over to John.
Thanks, Shannon. Well, thanks for joining us on this great topic of email reports. It's probably one of the most used areas of Untangle because you're able to get your reports right in your inbox. And we'll go through how to not only look at the default reports, but also customize those for depending on what your audience is or what information you're looking to get on a daily, weekly, or monthly area. So again, this is a fairly new product in our fairly new feature in our product since 11, and it allows you to get before we had an email report, it was a PDF and it was quite rigid. It didn't have a lot of graphs. The formatting was kind of off. There was no customization. So this makes it quite useful. You'll find it being able to cater to most of your needs. Again, the email reports can be based on daily, weekly, or monthly. You can make custom reports based on specific reports that you generate, and you can send different custom reports to different individuals, and we'll go through that. Let's just take a look at a email report right now. So this is pretty much the default report that's sent out. Let's just get this a little bigger so you can see it. As you can see, it kind of tells me what machine I'm on, what IP addresses are on the WAN. It will tell you multiple IPs if you have multiple WANs. And it also tells you the version you're currently running. Some of the more interesting things are some of the graphs at the bottom. For example, I can see, what ports are being used. I can see what my bandwidth is, see what peak times are happening. Let's go down here to the bottom where the more interesting reports are. One of the more useful things, I can see which of my users are using most of the bandwidth. I can see which machines are hitting those areas. Some other items here. I can see, full usage by client, which is in this case IP address, but those could be names depending on where we have it. And this is all in the default report. And let me go through on how to set this up. So if we go to our dashboard and then we go to apps, we're going to go reports, and then we're going to go to email templates. The first thing you'll notice, there's two pre-made ones. Daily reports, all the email reports that we normally have in there. And then we have a text base. Text base is useful if, for example, you want to get that email on your phone and you want to cut down the data charges. You can set it to receive only text reports to a particular email. If we go ahead and take a look at it, we can change nothing's really changeable in the default reports. It's just kind of a template. It shows you which reports are selected, and that's pretty much all you can do. The nice feature about this, though, is you can create your own reports. So here I've made a custom report. It has specific configurations that I want in the report and specific applications. So let's take a look at that. And you will notice that the icon is different because this is a custom report. The other ones that you can't change have a magnifying glass, which means you're able to view them, but you can't edit. But this I can edit. So as you can see, I've gone over here and just gave it a name and so forth. You can change the interval. If you choose weekly, you can decide which day of the week it starts. A lot of businesses want it to start on Monday. Specific areas of the world start on Sunday. Some start on Saturday. So it's very. The mobile check mark is that we reduce the size of the graphics and reduce the width of the display, so it's more readable on a mobile device. So you want to select that if you know that people are going to be receiving these reports on a mobile device like a tablet or a phone. Normally I just leave that checked off because most people receive their emails on their PCs. I can go through here and just select which ones I want in my report, in this custom report. I've kind of chosen a lot of the networking areas. There's some applications I want to check and so forth. As you can see, these are just the standard reports that come with the Untangle, and I'll show you how to do custom reports and add those to the alerts in a later part of this webinar. I've gone ahead and selected those. You can actually view the reports because you're like, well, I don't remember this report. What's in this report? So I can click on the little eye and actually see the report that gets generated by that. Okay, I go, oh yeah, this is a good report. So I'll go ahead and select that one. So those are the different ways you can do that. So right now we've made a template, but we haven't assigned who we're going to send that to, and we do that under users. So we're going to go ahead and make a user, and we're going to have it send. We can create the user. We can say who we're going to send that to, and if we want to send email templates, and which email template. And as you can see, it has my two default reports, plus it has the custom report that I just generated. So I went ahead and select that. So for now, this particular email address will always get this custom report going forward on a daily basis, depending on which the template was selected. So this is set for daily, so it's going to get it every day. So that's fine, good, but let's say I want to know specifically, I have, let's say, our HR manager or our CEO wants to know how many people are going to social media during the day to see, because right now we allow it, but he wants to see if it's a problem, if it's becoming a rage problem, he might decide to change the policy. So let's go ahead and we're going to go into reports. And we're going to go into our web filter. And basically what I did is took top usernames by requests and modified it. Let's see, let's hit customize so you can see. So I really took the top usernames And then I added a special SQL condition to it. I'm going to say when web filter category is social media, and then I made this a new report. I did a save as new report. So I have this new report that says top usernames in social media. So in this case, I can see who is going to social media the most. And I can see in this case for daily it's Christina, but our CEO doesn't want to log into the firewall for whatever reason. So what we need to do is email this to report to them. So I'll go ahead and go back to apps, and then I'll go into my reports, and then I'm going to create a new user first of all. Oh, sorry, I need to back out one bit here. So I'm going to create a new report. Excuse me. I'm going to call it social media. So I'm going to say usernames, going to social sites. Excuse me. And then I'm going to say weekly. And we're going to go ahead and start that on Monday. And then I'm going to scroll down to find my web filter report that I just generated. And here it is. So this is going to be towards the bottom here. So here's the report I just created. The top username social network. We're going to want that for the report. In this case, the person only wants this particular report. So once again, we're customizing the report just for them. So I'll say done, and I'll go ahead and apply that change. So now I'm going to create a user for that. So I'm going to say I want to send it to here, and by default the first one is selected. So instead I'm going to select this social media, and he's not going to want alerts, and he's not going to want email reports, just the templates. So I'm going to go ahead and select this, and then we click apply. So now the person who's concerned with you know, how many people are going to social media are going to get the report, and it's based on this email template. Really simple. Some things to remember that I'd like to go through. One of the other things is you do need to have your email set up to go out. So let me go to that. It's part of the basic configuration. By default, it goes through our hosted emails relay that you can use with Untangle. I highly recommend that you actually send it through your own mail server. There's two reasons for that. The first reason is that it will be able to probably, you can control more the size of the email, because as you add more and more reports to the system, there's a chance that one of the email relays that the email is going to have to go through is going to block it, because either the size of the email is too large, or the other restriction that many email servers have is the number of graphics that are attached to an email. If we go back to our report here, so each one of these graphics is a separate attachment to the email. So it's what we need to do is make sure that our email server, for example, Google only allows 25 graphs. So while it's not 25 reports, because some reports do not have graphs, they're literally words or so forth, it won't count towards that 25 maximum. But if you're sending the mail directly to your own server, you'll be able to control that. And so I recommend using the specified SMTP server, and that will be your own server. That's pretty important. Again, like if you're not seeing the reports, you can actually go into reports and reports itself and see if the email reports is going out. If the email reports are going out but you're not receiving them, most likely they're either caught by spam filtering or you've exceeded the size or attachment limitation for whatever email servers you're relaying through. Very important. That's usually one of the trickiest parts of setting this up. Some of the other things to be wary of. Recipients, want to make sure that we set that correctly. We went over building your own report, some of the mobile options. Do we have any questions out there?
There was some questions. I think it's due to the fact that you are showing a 12.2.1 box, but some people were saying they only see one of the default reports.
Yeah, so that's a new. We wanted some people were saying they really needed a text because they're not able to send graphics through their mail server, or they wanted to cut down their bandwidth because they were receiving the reports on their mobile phones, and that's one way to do that. Really, there's not much to that. You can actually create it yourself. In those cases, you just need to select reports that only have text, that don't have graphics. Really, that's the only thing that's special about that particular one, and that's the thing to keep in mind on that. Really, that's the only thing to keep track of. Again, the most important part of this is when you want to do custom reports is create the report templates first. So if you have a particular one that you want to set up, for example, I'll just show you how to customize one real quick because that's kind of a crucial part of this. So I'm going to take this top categories, and let's see, let's take a different one. Top sites probably good. So here's top sites, and let's say I'm interested in, I'm going to customize this a little bit. So I'm going to say top sites in social networking. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and add a column. I'm going to say, I'm going to use web filter, and we're going to do social networking. And then we're going to do is save as a new report. So you notice I have a new one here. And you can tell which ones are custom because they'll have a little pin next to them. See, they have a little pin, as opposed to the other ones don't have anything. So now I can see the top sites based on social networking. And now I can go to my reports, report email templates, and add that as a specific one. So if we scroll down to the bottom, and so it's over here. So again, make sure you do any custom reports first before you try to create your email templates, because that way you can select it. You can go back, let's say this is some report that you want to change. Let's say we want to change this one from top usernames, and now we also want the top sites. So you'll notice this is now here, that we just added it. when you go back to edit, it will automatically add it to the list so you can select it. So now I have this one too. So I've added a second one that I've created. So again, do the reports first and then make any changes to the report email templates as you wish. Is there any other questions? Sorry, I don't have the screen
Yeah.
up.
There was a question about the online access checkbox that was showing in the user settings. Can you just go over what that is used for?
Sure. So besides admin accounts allow you to log into your Untangle, make any changes in settings, look at reports, add new users, so forth. Under users, you can also allow access to excuse me, to the make extra accounts to the reporting. So for example, I can say this person can go ahead and look at reporting. And what I'll need to do is set a password for them. Excuse me. So I'll go ahead and add a password. Now that person can go and log in to the reporting site. Let me go ahead and save that. And so now I can go to reports. And normally it would have a login, but I'm already logged in as the administrator. But that person would have a login password screen, and they could type in their login password, and they only have access to reports at that point. So they can view the reports, create reports, custom reports, and so forth. And then they're able to access. So this is kind of nice for like a lot of department heads. That way they can look at what's going on in the network without worrying about them making changes to the network that would bring the network down and so forth. So that is a useful part of reports. That's also covered in our reports webinar. If you go back, you can go on YouTube and just put Untangle and look for reports, and there'll be a webinar going all over the different aspects of reports itself, which is pretty useful when you're combining it with email templates. Any other questions that we could cover?
There seems to be a lot of questions on how to customize certain reports. So I was thinking maybe you can show them the wiki or the forums where they can hop on to ask questions.
Yeah, so a couple of questions that probably come up on reports is when you're probably going, well, how do you know what to type in for those different areas? For example, down here for these SQL commands. And really that's covered on our wiki. So we go wiki. If you look for schema, let's see here. That'd be easier to find. Let's see if I can find that. Don't have it. Oh, it's probably on the events page. So here's where you'll find a lot of the, this is all the events, and then you can find what you're looking for as far as what to filter on. And we'll have all the classes and the different areas that you can put into the SQL commands. A couple other things, the forums, just really useful as far as we have several developers who are on this pretty much constantly. I'm on there pretty much every day, if not more. And definitely ask your questions on here, and try to give as much specifics as you can about what you're trying to do. And we will do our best to kind of give you direct answers for your specific problem. A lot of times we can give you help within minutes. If it's a fairly straightforward thing, we can probably give you an answer right away, very specific to your area. So definitely ask questions on the wiki. It's very helpful. I'm sorry, on the forums. The wiki will have a lot of information going forward.
Thanks, John. There doesn't seem to be any other questions right now.
All right, we went over the troubleshooting. Definitely be careful selecting too many type of reports for your email template. It can get blocked by spam or limitations by any mail server that's going through, including your own.
Yeah,
And back to you.
Yeah, thanks, John. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to submit them in the Q&A box. We still are online. I just want to reiterate, if you do have some issues or you're confused about how to install or configure if you're new to Untangle or if you're trying to upgrade, we do offer professional services to help if you have a very specific and complicated network deployment. So we're here to help, if the wiki and the forums don't do it for you or our support team. So just keep that in mind. And let's see if there's any other questions that come in. Let's see. There's a question if the emailed report can include events for smaller than a day.
No, it's the limitation is by either let's see here, by daily, which is a 24-hour period, and it's based on when your reports are generated, and then weekly, and it starts on the day that you select, or monthly. So right now you can't do a specific group of area. What you can do, though, is a little modification on the reports. So you can go to reports and put specific time periods in the SQL, and then that way the daily report for that will be only for a time slot. For example, let's say you're only looking at web traffic between the hours of 8 in the morning and 5 in the evening. You can actually put that in the SQL command, and then that will limit the amount of data that's going in that particular report.
All right. Thanks, John. If you go back to the slide real quick, we don't seem to have any other questions. As always, if we don't get to your question or if you have a very specific question for your network, please email us or call us, sales@untangle.com or support@untangle.com. John mentioned the wiki and the forums. Those are all of our resources available to you. The wiki is our technical documentation, and the forums, as John mentioned, is a place where you can ask questions to us as well as other Untangle users to see if someone else has gone through some similar issues and has a solution for you. Thank you so much for joining us for this webinar. I appreciate your time. Please look online on our website for our upcoming webinars. We have a 101 for Intro to NG Firewall. If you or anyone you know is not familiar with Untangle, this is a great webinar for you to join. And then in April, we have Web Filter and Web Monitor, where Web Monitor is our new app that we released for version 12.2. So John's going to go over that and how both Web Filter and Web Monitor work together and can help. So if you have any other topics as well for these tech talks, please email us and let us know. We appreciate your feedback and want to be able to utilize and give you as much resources as possible for these, for NG Firewall as well as the apps. So thank you so much for joining us. Thanks, John, and we'll see you next time.